Tylenol or trafficking? A 57-year-old Indian American engineer, Mahendra Patel, found himself at the center of a disturbing accusation just 2 months ago. Attempted kidnapping of a toddler at a Walmart in Ackworth, Georgia. What followed was a 6-week jail stay, a wave of public support on social media, and a courtroom battle that raised serious questions about evidence, intent, and the state of the criminal justice system here in our country. Hey, I'm America's attorney. I've been a lawyer for over 20 years. I've helped over 1.2 million people. And today, we're going to break down everything that's happened in this mess of a case so far, and I will predict the future, and I will do so correctly, as always. From the initial encounter to Patel's release and his pending charges, we're going to break it all down right now. The situation began on March 18th, 2025, when Patel entered a Walmart looking for Tylenol for his sick mother, unless he entered the Walmart intending to steal a baby. Once inside the store, Patel struggled to find the right aisle, as we all do sometimes, and he approached a woman named Caroline Miller, who was sitting on a motorized shopping cart with her 2 children. It's clear later in the footage that she doesn't actually need the scooter. Her kids just like it. Here's where things became tricky. Miller claims Patel grabbed her 2-year-old daughter by the leg and tried to pull her from the cart. She claimed that she had to rip her child away from him as he reached towards the child a second time. However, Patel's defense attorney claims that he was simply trying to help a child who appeared to be slipping or in danger of falling. Surveillance footage from the Walmart was presented in court, showing Patel briefly reaching out towards the child's leg and then backing away. He did not run, he did not make threats or attempt to flee the scene. In fact, he continued shopping, showed her that he had found the Tylenol, checked out, chatted with a Walmart employee, and exited the store without any indication of panic or wrongdoing. Like I said, the security footage showed a second encounter between Miller and Patel after he touched the child's leg, in which he shows Miller something in his hand, looks like a bottle of Tylenol, and Miller gives him a thumbs up, and Patel then slowly walks away. You know how you always give a thumbs up to the guy that tries to unsuccessfully steal your child. Moreover, Miller is seen chatting with a man immediately after the alleged attempted kidnapping, and that man also has to help Miller's children after Miller backs up her Jazzy into a stand of merchandise and basically runs over her child's leg. She's no threat for Mother of the Year award in 2025, but maybe in 2026. After her second encounter with Patel, you know, the thumbs up, Miller tells a Walmart employee that a man attempted to take her child and the police were called while Patel pays for his Tylenol and calmly leaves the store. As I said, he even stopped to chat with a Walmart employee for over 30 seconds. That's longer than I can get some of you to even watch one of my videos. Self-burn. 3 days later, on March 21st, Patel was arrested and charged with simple assault, simple battery, and attempted kidnapping. Patel was taken into custody and held without bond at the Cobb County Jail. On April 3rd, 2025, a grand jury indicted Patel on the 3 charges. Now, can we just take a second here?
He was held without bond.
Without bond? I'm like, what? There are actually people charged with homicide. Now, not murder one, but various homicides who get bond set, but not Patel. The prosecution, led by assistant douchebag attorney Jesse Evans, argued that the surveillance footage supported the mother's version of events and should not be dismissed. Evans pointed out that Patel could be seen tugging on the child's leg in a manner that, from the mother's perspective, appeared forceful and deliberate. The state emphasized that even if Patel did not ultimately remove the child from the cart or leave the store, the act of reaching and pulling constituted enough to justify the charges of attempted kidnapping and battery. OMG. The prosecutors also highlighted Patel's prior criminal history, including a 2006 federal conviction for wire fraud and a pending DUI case, suggesting that these demonstrated a pattern of disregard for the law. They argued that this history made him a potential risk and opposed bond, asserting that the seriousness of the made-up charges warranted continued detention until trial. Patel's defense lawyer argued that Patel's criminal history was nonviolent. He was a longtime member of the community, further challenging the narrative that he posed a danger. Now, it also might have been good to point out that he did not actually attempt to kidnap that child and did not commit a battery. Holy cow. Over a month later, Mahendra Patel appeared again before the Cobb County Court, this time before Judge Gregory Pohl, for a bond hearing that would determine whether he could be released while awaiting trial for charges on crimes he didn't actually commit. Patel's defense attorney emphasized that Patel had been cooperative throughout the investigation and had no intention of fleeing since he didn't commit any crimes. The prosecution pushed back, reiterating the seriousness of the made-up charges and raising concerns about his prior criminal records, which were not violent or related to this made-up charge. After reviewing the arguments and the surveillance footage, Judge Poole granted Patel a $10,000 bond with strict conditions, including no contact with the alleged victim, sure, no visits to any Walmart store, so I guess he'll be getting his Tylenol from Amazon now, and a requirement to abstain from drugs and alcohol. I don't think that's happening. But anyway, Patel was released later that day, having spent, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, 45 days in jail. Guys, he didn't do anything wrong. You guys sometimes get on to me for talking about the bad stuff that happens inside of Wendy's and McDonald's and Walmart, and don't even get me started on Arby's. But this is the kind of crazy insanity that I'm talking about. Now, one of the biggest elements of this case is the strong attention that it garnered on social media. Many viewed the charges as an overreach and questioned whether Patel had been treated unfairly due to racial or cultural misunderstandings. Yeah, I kind of noticed. A Change.org petition calling for his release quickly gained traction, gathering over 89,000 signatures and drawing media coverage. Change.org is cool and everything, but this guy should have a Kickstarter, and if you're watching this video, feel free to start one for him or contribute to one for him if it already exists. Someone has got to pay this guy's lawyer. Organizations like the South Asian Bar Association of Georgia and the Asian Americans Advancing Justice Atlanta issued statements expressing concern about the handling of the case and the potential for implicit bias to influence prosecutorial decisions. You think? Social media platforms were filled with commentary, some users defending the mother's perspective and others calling for greater scrutiny of how quickly Patel was charged without clear evidence of intent, or maybe any evidence of intent. Look, I don't give a rip about the mother's perspective because the prosecutor has an obligation to not bring a case unless he believes in good faith that he can prove the commission of a crime beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt. Not like, oh, this maybe, sort of, kind of, possibly could have happened. It isn't about what the mother thinks or how the mother felt or anything that was subjective for her in the moment. This is about, can the prosecutor go to a group of 12 people and say, this was a criminal act? Although Patel was released on bond eventually, he still faces serious charges of attempted kidnapping, battery, and assault. He has to be concerned that the jury might be as apparently racist or apparently insane as whoever thought that Patel actually committed the crime, the cops or the prosecutors or whoever it was. I mean, what a joke. A trial date has been set for June 23rd, and the case is likely to hinge on how the jury interprets Patel's intent based on the surveillance footage and testimony, and also the fact that he clearly wasn't trying to commit any crime. Of course, charging a crime is pretty easy. Getting a conviction, man, it's a lot harder. I wish I were one of his lawyers at trial. I would love to cross-examine Miss Miller while she's in the jazzy in the courtroom, because she is full of and I guarantee you that a lawyer worth even $1 would be able to get her to agree to some basic facts which would completely gut the case. Look, I don't know who's making the decisions there in the prosecutor's office or why they're doing it, but there is someone who has their head way up their butt, and they are going to get clowned if this case goes to trial. Speaking of which, there is no chance at all of this case going to trial on June 23rd. Look, prosecutors like to win cases, and it costs them very little to quietly dismiss a case that they cannot win. But they look terrible when they have a trial and they can't get a conviction. And this is one that they could never get a conviction on, and they know this. However, from the standpoint of the criminal defendant, the dangerous Mr. Patel, a lot of the damage is already done. I mean, obviously, going to prison would be way worse. But guys, he spent 45 days in the Cobb County Jail for doing nothing. And now he's had his name dragged through the mud for crimes he didn't commit and didn't try to commit, and it's just shameful. And I hate to be the one to say this, but if the guy were Caucasian, I really don't think this would have happened. The prosecutor is basically taking the position that Patel is the most incompetent kidnapper of all time, and that he doesn't know how to commit a battery or a kidnapping, even though he really wants to. I mean, what a joke, what a colossal waste of resources and unnecessary shame brought on the justice system. Now, I don't want my video here to become a how-to resource on kidnapping, but suffice it to say that if you want to steal a child from a Walmart, you do it from the parking lot with your vehicle handy, potentially already running with the door open, not deep inside the store where you still haven't made your purchase and you still don't have the Tylenol that you need to get for your mom before hitting the road with your victim.
Write that down, write that down!
Again, this whole thing is just like super clown and super stupid. Ugh. What do you think happened on that fateful Tuesday? You think there was a genuine kidnapping attempt? Or was it a good deed gone wrong? Hey, drop your pro se opinion down below in the comments and let me know what you think. And while you're down there, don't forget to lawyer up with me, America's Attorney, by hitting that subscribe button. Now, if you reach for it and your hand slips down below it, I'll gently lift your hand up and then I'll get charged with attempted kidnapping. I'll be back very soon with more legal breakdowns, and I will see you then. Surveillance footage. He even stopped to chat with an Walt. Further challenge.